Hello there, beautiful human. Melinda Joy, Crossroads Storyteller, with a deck review. So, last zodiacal year, I picked 4 decks that were created independently and by someone I had some kind of connection to. And I reviewed all of them except for one. And so I'm going to do that today. This was the deck we used for water signs. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I apologize. I'm referring to the Monday tarot readings that occur on my stories. And if you don't know about that, then you gotta get on it and show up at my stories on Monday. Okay, so this deck is called the Creative Liberation Now deck. The Fool's Journey Through the Multiverse, aka a game for intuition and creative liberation inspired by the tarot. So I think the reason why this deck is not explicitly claimed to be a tarot deck, first of all, my deck came in this cloth that I am pretty sure is a African original print. Okay, so it came in this pretty cloth, and I think the reason why it's not just called a tarot deck and instead is called a game for intuition and creative liberation inspired by the tarot is because there are extra cards. There are extra cards there's more fools, there's more multiverses, and then there's essence cards. An essence for each element, and then an essence for the fool, and an essence for the multiverse. And the multiverse is instead of the universe card or Aeon card, depending on which deck you're working with. So here's an essence card. And what's fun, this is a perfect example. Nope, it's not. What's fun, here's a perfect example, so here's the Essence of Water card, and if you look at all of the water suit, there's a similar background. And it's the same with all of the elements. So all of the air backgrounds have some piece of this Essence of Air card. Okay, so this deck is fantastic. The humans who created it, I got to know while I lived in an eco-village in an elaborate, beautified parking lot in Oakland, California. And I have very vivid, cherished memories of being in my tiny house with my doors open and hearing Amani working with music for some of the cards. And those of you who are creative, how oftentimes you make a beautiful piece of art and then you work it and then you rework it and then you rework it and then you end up with a whole nother cool piece of art. That's sort of what Amani was doing. And that particular song is like seared into my brain, which is fantastic because the song is about learning to love yourself. And that's definitely what I was doing when I was living in Oakland. I was working on reclaiming some really key pieces of myself. So this deck is brilliant. I want to tell you more about the guidebook to illustrate. So the guidebook has color images, and there is a title for the card. There's a affirmation for each card. There's an AKA, so like another name for the card. And then there is let's see, what is this? There's a lot of Amani and Amutabi, the two humans who created this deck, love to work with words and play with words. And so there's a lot of witty word use in this guidebook and this deck. Okay, so rooted seed essence is what they call the meaning of the card. And then there's a couple other things like plants and some hashtags and some other fun stuff. So that is the guidebook. But what's so fun is all of the card meanings are framed from a sort of post-colonial perspective. And so it's super fantastic because it's clearly working with the tarot system. As soon as I started working with this deck, it was clear to me that at least one of the humans, Amutabi or Amani, who worked or created this deck, had some grounded, rooted knowledge in occult meanings and systems and things like that. And so it's this beautiful synastry of all the deep occult esoteric concepts and really practical support for humans living in a colonial world, and all of the navigating that is required to sustain some semblance of authenticity and personal sovereignty and beautiful things like that. So when I started sharing this deck, it was the only deck that didn't currently have a source to buy it from. There is a wait list for the next printing, and there was. I sort of skimmed over that before now, but currently there is a wait list for the next printing, and there is a link to that wait list in my profile feed, in my profile bio, in the bio, not the feed, please. That sort of is a smooth transition to let you know that the absence of present decks available to share with others inspired me, and I reached out to Amani, and I am jumping on the team because there's also other humans who have worked really hard to help manifest this deck. Seneca, I apologize, Seneca, I don't remember your last name, but Seneca was a human who did a lot of the logistical, so I brought this up because this is the first volume of many potential volumes that are written down blog posts for each card. And each card has several pages here. And so those pages looked a little bit empty, but that's because they're asking you a question in their space to answer it. But so Seneca was really key to this becoming a reality, and a couple other editing, modifying pieces. And these blog posts are awesome. I'm so excited that they exist. And one of the things I would really like to do is to manifest the future volumes. But first things first, we're working on printing the deck and finding just the right printer to make it the most accessible for everyone possible. Because it's a little bit larger deck, it is a little bit more expensive to print. But I'm absolutely loving the extended cards. I know in some decks, the additional cards sometimes feel like unnecessary, but these cards are brilliant. And I'm so excited to share this deck further with you because I'm starting to participate on the team. Since I am a part of the team already, it's accomplished. I am on the team. I want to share more of the structure of the deck with you, the brilliance of having multiple Fools, the brilliance of having multiple multiverses and essence cards, and the way I read them, and options for different ways you could read them. Oh, that's so fun. And just all of the brilliance I see in this deck. I'm excited to continue to share with you in future videos. So stay tuned for that, and stay tuned for future information regarding the printing and selling of this deck and its other accessories, which is also something I intend to talk more about. And until then, so much love.